in fall 2009 at Canadian University. Is this right, or that means fall 2010? You have to be registered.
You have to be registered in the school now.
Now,
this
okay.
term coming up.
Okay, so that's different than NSERC also.
Yeah.
And you apply through that university, and often the universities will have internal deadlines for both. And we'll talk about that in a minute because there's ranking that goes on within the university before the applications get sent to the actual agency in Ottawa. Okay, or not registered Canadian University, apply directly to CHR, February 1st, 2010. Through CHR, you apply through their grant interface. We apply for our research grants through this. It's called ResearchNet. It works pretty well. This is their website. This will be on the slides we post on the Rise and Stars Research website. You have to get yourself a password. And a complete application requires a CV module. So there's something called the Common CV that many different agencies use. And it's a different website that you will be directed to, and you fill out all your information. And the good thing about it is all your information stays there, so you just have to add to it through your original official transcripts, letters from people, and confirmation of your citizenship or permanent residence status. Okay, so how are these ranked? It's a multi-step thing. It's this inverted pyramid. So what happens is our department, for example, if the deadline is October 15th for NSERC, we'll say we have to rank them first. We have an internal deadline of something like the third week of September. They absolutely have to be to Kelsey by the third week of September. And then our graduate advisory committee will rank them according to, we'll talk about the criteria, but basically grades, research potential, and performance, and leadership communication. And then we make our rankings. We send them to the Central University, and they intermix all the rankings from all the different programs and come up with a big comprehensive list. They send the top applicants to the national agency that then intermixes all the people from the different universities, and the top people get money. So that's sort of the way it works. So it's several steps. So even though the deadline to get this to the agency may be October 15th, the deadline to start the process may be a couple weeks earlier. So it's important to start early. So if you were going to be applying for this fall for NSERC for October 1, now's about the time to start thinking about doing it. Okay, and to think about asking people for letters. Okay, sorry I'm going to have some slides with a lot of words, but. So how are they evaluated? So they're evaluated by people like me who volunteer to be on this. Yeah, I have a question first.
Can I ask you a question? NSERC for master's this year is down to only 1 year and you can't reapply. So what do you, like, is there anything NSERC offers to apply for that for a second year? Or?
They're just, master's awards are just for 1 year. So have you already received one for 1 year?
Yeah, but they told me I can't reapply.
You can't reapply. So are you transferring to a PhD program?
Unclear.
Unclear. So for the next year, you have to find another source of funding. And when you apply to the PhD program, or you're planning on applying to the PhD program or switching, then you can apply for PhD level funding, which is up to 3 years.
So for example, you could hold an NSERC Master's Award for 1 year, and then you could maybe apply for a CHR one if that's relevant, or from a different disease agency, or any agency relevant to what you do.
If you are planning on applying maybe for next year, you might want to apply for the PhD award in hopes that you might transfer to the PhD program, so that you don't miss 2 years of funding. Because it takes a year to apply.
We have experts. Yeah.
Yeah, like to answer your question, I know in Quebec we have a provincial funding, kind of like NSERC called FQRNT, and they'll supplement with your second year of your NSERC if you get one. So I'm sure that exists in other provinces too.
Yeah, so for example, in many provinces they have that you would apply for it at the same time as you apply for NSERC. And if you get both, they'll say, well, the first year you're getting NSERC, we'll just give you a few $1,000s top up. And the second year, since NSERC's not paying you, we'll pay you the whole amount.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About how many students across Canada get the NSERC?
It's in the hundreds, maybe up to 1,000. You know, I have to say that we're probably down at the 15 to 20% level of all the applicants to the departments. So it's competitive, yeah.
Does holding an undergraduate NSERC influence whether or not you'll be able to get a master's NSERC?
It does.
People who have an insert undergrad, it's like you said, with your research potential, you score a bit higher in that category.
Yeah. So it's a good indication that you've gotten something. It doesn't preclude you. So here than there.
Yeah, specifically the application submits to our university that we're currently enrolled in. Right?
Yes.
So who does the ranking? Is it our own university or the university that we're applying to?
No, it's actually, if you're applying as an undergraduate, it's actually your own university. Because this is an award to you. Although you may write it as saying that I'm going to go to university or wherever, you don't have to. It's an award to you. You can actually change what you write and take it wherever. It goes with you. It's not contingent on where you say you're going to take it.
How would the odds compare if you apply to the university or directly to NSERC or CHR?
So if you bypass the university, do you have a better or worse shot?
Or
there?
how would the odds compare? If you are in foreign university, if you say outside university per month, then you have to apply directly to NSERC or CHR, right? How would the odds compare?
It's all done by, everyone's valued on the same level, right? So basically just skip the departmental and the university step, but overall if you don't rank as high as, the bottom person that was ranked at the university, you won't get a scholarship, right? So everyone's ranked on the same level. It's, you have two best rankings to go through, so you will be evaluated by INSERT or CHR directly, but it doesn't give you any higher chance of getting a scholarship because most universities have numerous people, that will qualify for the award.
Okay, I may just add up on this. So I've been reviewing CHR Master Award and PhD Award for 5 years. So if you do pass through the university or apply directly, at the end your application is actually peer reviewed by 2 independent scientists with very strict criteria. So it doesn't really matter. I think everybody is really processed the same ways. And if there are discrepancies between the results of the 2 peer reviewer, they will actually send it to a third one. So it's a really robust system.
So although it doesn't sound most efficient, actually at each level the ranking is done independently. So they will be re-ranked by different reviewers at each level.
Yeah, we don't know, like if you're ranked by the department, the university doesn't know where you rank, they just know that we passed you on. So it's not like you're ranking from one agency when we pass to the next. You're just, this is the application, we think they're good. What do you think?
So you can really think of these as cutoffs, and the real ranking happens here. All right. So what are they going to be evaluating? Your academic record, previous awards, we just talked about that. Past research experience, which you all have. How you described your project. We'll talk a little bit, just very briefly, about all of these. Your career goals and your expectations, some of your evaluation letters. And CHR will look at your research environment. They want to know that you're going to a good lab and that you will prosper and do good things when you're there. And that's information that your supervisor would provide.
Jonathan, how does it work? So how do I have to, if I'm not even sure which university, for example, I want to apply to U of T and to UBC, which supervisor am I going to ask? Do I just contact anybody, or when do I pick like a project, do I have to ask the supervisor to come up with a project for me?
No, you would write, there's certain sections about your writing proposal, your research proposal, and you can write that on past research you've done or what you would like to do. So you just dream up your favorite project and you say, this is what I'm going to do, and you just write it like you're going to do that. Or you could write it on a project that you did do and how you continue that project through.
Okay, but it does not have to be the actual place where I'm going to be at.
Because you can take the scholarship and use it to get into the university you want to go. So, if you have a scholarship, students who have scholarships will always be accepted to universities most likely. I haven't seen a student that has applied to UBC who hasn't been accepted if they have a scholarship. It's very rare because, there's less investment from supervisors.
That being said, maybe Tom and Francois can correct me. When I read these applications, I tend to think more highly of the ones where the student has made an arrangement to go somewhere and knows what they want to do. But again, it's not set in stone because it's an award to you that you can take anywhere. And I think it's fair enough to contact a group of supervisors and say, well, I'm thinking of a bunch of these. Everyone will understand that a good student is going to be looking at many possible things. talk to one and tell them, very honestly that you're among my top choices. I'd like to write a scholarship